YouTube? I'm back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited to check out Leapin Lily pads from Ravensburger. This is for 2 to 5 players, ages 5 plus. It'll take you about, 5 to 15 minutes to play. And in Leapin Lily pads, this is a matching game in which you are going to pick up a nice little miniature frog, which will have a color on the bottom, and then you're going to move that frog and then try to find a lily pad with that corresponding color. If you do, that's a point. Whoever has the most points at the end, you guessed it, is going to win the game. It's a routinely simple matching game designed by the most prolific game designer of all time, Reiner Knizia. Does that make it better? Does that make it worse? Is it good? Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're to get inside of Leapin Lily pads. So first and foremost, we get our handy dandy rule booklet. It is 2 very tiny pages. This is pretty much all you're going to need, and somehow they managed to screw the pooch on this. Somebody hopefully got in some trouble for this because they actually forget to mention that you flip over lily pads. It just talks about how the player should also say the color out loud of the frog and then hop him to the unoccupied stone. And then it just implies that you're supposed to flip over lily pads, which obviously we know you're supposed to flip over lily pads, but it doesn't actually say that in the rule booklets, which really kind of boggles my mind. But anywho, let's get started. Now, before we get started, I do want to mention that I am missing one of these little frogs. That's because my 2-year-old son, ran off with it, but you can still definitely get a feel for how the game works. We'll just throw that one over to the side. Now, what you're going to be doing in Leapin Lily pads is you're going to try to win the most lily pads by leaping from rock to rock to rock and trying to match your frog with the color of a lily pad. I'll show you exactly how it works. So, on your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to flip one of the frogs over, and you'll say the color blue, and then you will put them over here, and then you're going to flip over a lily pad, and if you match that color, then you get the lily pad, and you get a point. So now it's the next person's turn. So they got white, and white, boom, so they get a match, which means they get to go again, and they might go yellow, and they might go, oh, that's blue, which means this person over here is like, hey, I remember this is blue, and that is blue as well, so then I would have my match. And that's pretty much it. You're going to go until all the lily pads are gone, at which point you will count up the number of lily pads you have. Whoever has the most will be the winner of the game, and that, in a nutshell, is how you're going to play Leapin Lily pads. Alright then, Leapin Lily pads from Ravensburger. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. First and foremost, it is an incredibly quick, simple children's matching game. This is a children's game, this is a family game. There is no other area in which you will play this game. So if you're not in the market for either of those, you're going to want to steer clear. Also, if you're looking for a children's game that is something other than a matching game, this one will probably not be for you because this is pretty straightforward matching. You match up the frog to the lily pad, boom, you get a point, and that's it. Also, the game can get repetitive. You're going to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And that's pretty much what I got on the cons. Oh, the rule booklet. I have no idea how the heck this slipped somebody's mind, but they completely forget to tell you to flip over lily pads. Now, it's implied just by the rules that are around where the rules should be, but still, there's like 3 rules in the entire game. How does one of them not make it into the rule booklet? That blows my mind. Yeah, I mean, it's a children's game. But moving on to the pros, this is a great matching game. This really is rock solid, and there's a lot to like about this if you're in the market for a matching game. So if you're looking at this, you're at a thrift shop, you're looking at it for a kid, pull the trigger. Make sure it's got all the components, but absolutely pull this trigger. This is a fantastic children's matching game. I think you can play it with kids ages 3 plus. It says 5 to 99, but it's so simple. As long as kids know their colors, they should be fine. What I really liked about this game is it's not your typical matching game where you just have to remember where one thing is. Where it's like, okay, I remember where this is, and I remember where that is, boom, I have to get a match. No, because the frogs are constantly moving. They're jumping from rock to rock to rock, and you have to remember the lily pads, and I like that little extra aspect of the game. If this were not a Reiner Knizia game, I have a feeling this would be a much more straightforward game, but that little extra added element of the frogs moving from turn to turn to turn to turn, especially in a higher player count game, really does make the game interesting and more difficult, which I do like. I played it with my son. He really enjoyed it. I have not brought it into my classroom. I think it's a little too simple for them. And that's another comment I have with this game. I definitely think this is a game that you're probably going to have about 3 to 4 years with, and then it's going to be done. I'd say ages 3 to 7 or 8 is probably going to be the peak time where children are really going to enjoy this game before they want to move on to things that are a little bit heavier. But if you have children that age, Leapin Lily pads is a very enjoyable game, especially if you can find it on the cheap. It's got good components. I like the artwork. The rule booklet is easy to understand, despite the fact they left out 1/3 of the rules, which I guess is a compliment. And overall, Leapin Lily Pads is definitely one that I can recommend you check out if you have young children. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below or in the comments below. Let me know. Do you have any memorable moments with a frog? No, not really. Nope, none. Bye.